Is our declared victory.
Can win. Hatchling.
Repent! Low on mine.
Inescapable doom.
Energize the spheres.
Consume.
Be gone.
Succumb. Writhing mass. You deny us. Escape from pain.
For this realm.
Hey there, Exiles. This is just a quick preview at a build I'm messing around with. It is a Tawhoa's Felling Saboteur. It's a little bit gimmicky, and we are still abusing Admiral Doriani abuse. Sorry, it's the League, but we're going to keep doing that. So the core concept is Tawhoa's Felling, trigger Tawhoa's Chosen when you attack with a non-evolved skill. And Tawhoa's Felling is actually a spell. So it's a spell that triggers an attack. So because we're a Saboteur and we have Triggerbots, spells trigger twice. So that means we get 2 extra attacks for each attack we make with a roughly 0.6 second cooldown. So we use something like Static Strike that has a duration. And as you can see, or could see in the boss kill, as I attack, I get those little Tawhoa guys in the corner. And because Static Strike has a duration, each of those guys keep hitting for that whole duration here, just about 5 seconds. So that means with enough CDR and reasonable attack speed, you can get up to 18 plus copies of that attack. And I'm still working on a few things, but the damage does seem pretty crazy, and it makes for a pretty cool kind of semi-auto bomber playstyle. I'll run a quick silo here. If anyone's played Static Strike, you basically attack once every few packs, and then the shockwaves will blow everything up. We are using Warcries, just because they're very strong. Overexert is a very good support, and there's a lot of interesting utilities that Warcries give this build. So we're using Rallying Cry, Intimidating Cry, and Infernal Cry. Starfall Crater. Will we be lucky? So Rallying Cry gives us more damage basically per ally affected, and since we have a mercenary and he summons guys, we're always getting like 25% more damage.
Arts do not reveal themselves to just anyone.
Gives an additional attack per attack. Cool. So up there you can see I'm stacking up Tawhoa clones, and you can see where they're kind of.
I think you'll appreciate this one. Show me what you've got. Steel yourself,
Sorry,
warrior.
if I get a fucking small in while recording, that would be legendary.
I think you'll appreciate this one. Brave this!
Your reckoning is at hand.
Let's test your resolve. Show me what you've got.
Good.
Satisfactory.
Rage.
I'm finally starting to enjoy myself.
Oh my god. The biggest debate. Holy. Alright. Back to business. Sorry. So anyway, we're an attack build. We multiply our attacks with these clones, and it just makes for this really powerful passive hits. Now, there are some downsides. Obviously, we're using a very slow weapon, so it does feel kind of clunky. But, you know, you just attack once every 2 packs or so,
You stay in
and
the ground.
everything dies.
This choice carries weight. Prove your worth. Your reckoning is at hand. I'll take it then. I have no need.
We are using a few of some cool new items this league to cap crit and get a whole bunch of CDR. But we're using Shockwave and then Combust to multiply our clear, since we don't have any explode sources yet.
I'll cut you to shreds.
Time to up the stakes.
Alright.
Might of his
And that's just a
hand.
quick example of a typical destructive play run that you would do. So we're using Tawhoa's Felling. It's a 2-handed mace. One thing about maces is it lets us use Pulverize and Shockwave. Shockwave is just a very strong multiplier for your attacks, and since we're stacking so much cooldown recovery, you just pretty much every time you hit at least twice, if not 3 times. And then that's multiplied across the clones, because the clones have shockwaves too. You can see that here. 2 separate shockwaves, one for my attack and then one for the Tawhoa's Chosen trigger. Now, we are leveraging War Cries here, so Intimidating for double damage, Infernal Cry for Combust, and then Rallying Cry gives us 5% more damage for each affected ally, so 1 for Merc, and then he summons Spectres, so that's 25% more damage. We use Overexertion, so it's 16 times 3 plus 10, big multipliers. The chest is the Admiral, of course. We're still using our Doriani Merc. It's just kind of hard to justify playing anything else, and there actually are some other Merc combos that I think could be good for this, but my other 2 slots are occupied by my Aurabot Mercs, so I kind of just have to stick with my Fallen Reverend. I made these Tailwind cooldown reduction boots, and then I got a Fractured Crit per Warcry helmet. Because this is a mace, very low crit chance, this gives us, 2 for 8% base crit. Then we have a very nice Bound by Destiny here that gives us another base crit if we have Elder items equipped. So 1, 2, 3, and 4 Elder items. And then also a Hatred Crit Watcher's Eye. So all in all, this gives us a ton of base crit. And then we use Unstable Infusion nodes from Assassin to get power charges to just bring us all the way up. So we don't need to invest in that much crit on the tree, but we do take the multiplier where we can get it. And we come all the way up here for these very strong mace nodes. And overall, the tree is kind of funny looking, but it's fairly efficient. In terms of shadow nodes, we take Perfect Crime for Triggerbots, and of course the triggered abilities are attacks, so we don't get the less damage modifier. Born in the Shadows for really strong defense, especially paired with evasion, and then this does also help your accuracy, because when mobs are blind, they don't evade as well. Like Clockwork for CDR, and then finally Bomb Specialist. So this doesn't directly buff Static Strike, but it does buff Shockwave, it does buff Combust, and but also the 30% less to take 50 less is a very strong level of mitigation when you pair it with Solaris. So we are still taking evasion and suppression, so we have something like 75-ish lucky suppress. Up here with the Lethal Pride for DD, rage on hit, melee, and more rage. Technically don't need this DD since we're using Intimidating Cry, but you know, it was still the Timeless Jewel. Now, this is a very gimmicky build. To fit Bound by Destiny, you have to have some pretty specific item combos. So I opted for Mark of the Elder, just because it's a very strong generic attack ring. And then paired with Call of the Void, this not only lets all of our damage chill because we're roughly half lightning, half cold, but this lets all of our damage chill and then provides a mitigation layer. And then we actually get both of the benefits here for Mark of the Elder. So we get the 80% increased attack damage, and we cannot be stunned by attacks. Next, I needed, obviously, CDR on the boots, so that was a Shaper base. Paired it with a Hunter. This is an Elder belt. There's a couple different things you can slam prefixes: Global Fizz, Life, melee hits that stun, Fortify. This is actually pretty good because we hit really hard, and Tawhoa's Felling has built-in stun to it. So rather than having to rely on something like this, Fortify and our Leap Slam, which I can actually probably get rid of now. Now any hit that stuns has a 12% chance to Fortify, so that's pretty great. And then amulets there's several different unique options you can go. I mean, I've seen some people doing the what's like the Shaper's Astrolab kind of thing to give yourself elemental conflux, but it's like I already shock, I already freeze. Ignite isn't that important, I don't know, and I'm not using elemental spells. Or I guess actually, technically, Static Strike is lightning, but I needed accuracy, I needed multi, and I wanted a frenzy charge. So this was the best way. And then you just, with an open prefix, Elder Exalted Slam. The best thing you can hit is Fizz as Fire. I got T2, unfortunately, but I'm probably going to be recrafting this at some point, so it's not a big deal. Kind of gimmicky, not the best defenses, but between Fortify, Born in the Shadows, and then Call of the Void, you have about 30 to 50% semi-generic damage reduction. Paired with Evasion, then we do use Arctic Armor. It's great, but your weakness is chain hits. Our regen isn't that great, and if we're all stacked up on a boss and we have a whole bunch of static strikes, our leech is very strong. We do have instant leech here, but it just gave me kind of rippy with like chain hits, and like if we can get our spell suppress higher, that would also help. But this was just kind of a gimmick idea I've seen people play for a while and wanted to try out. I wanted to do some Awakener Orb crafting too, so these were fun to put together. But overall, this is kind of just something to mess with in my spare time. I am still pushing my Elementalist. I want to get that to 100, but we all have to have these little side projects from time to time. We come down here for Warcry Masteries. Our Warcries have a pretty quick cooldown, only 3 seconds. So that means we are not only getting the full benefit of overexertion, but we very consistently have all the crit from our helmet. Pull up POB really quick. Alright, let's see. Chilled, shocked, 5%, blinded, intimidated, yes. No, he's not intimidated. We have power charges, boss's resistance is negative 166, blood stance, Aberrath. I crit recently. 1, 2, 3. Okay. So, I mean, let's just do something crazy like put this at 8. So, 10's reasonable enough. So it's around 6 million-ish DPS. If I turn on Tincture and Flasks, that goes up to 10 or 12. Fizz hit is absolute dog shit. Still working on resolving that. It's a pretty consistent issue with my builds. Does largely stem from just using this chest. This is a pure damage chest, and I might actually even try not using this. Maybe go no merc, see if I can make this ethical. But the most reasonable solution would be to swap this for like doppelgangers or a million other things for much stronger Fizmit. But if you just want to go raw bullshit damage abuse, you cannot beat the Admiral. We'll see how far I can take this character. I think it's pretty fun. I don't know, good enough for like destructive play silo runs or whatever. If I get tired of doing the Abyss stuff on my Elementalist. But it's interesting to see how all these different items come together, and the Tawhoa's Triggerbot interaction is pretty cool. So we'll see. Thanks for watching, everybody. I really appreciate all the likes, subs, and comments. It means a lot. Channel's been growing and doing well, and makes me feel good and makes me want to keep making videos. So be sure to hit that thumbs up, and I'll see everybody next time.